highway to the danger zone. Yeah, let's go there. Tonight we're talking about getting out of our comfort zones, talking about everything from lizard brains to X Games. So stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to Home Office Lifestyle, episode 83. This episode is brought to you by Ovaleye. Ovaleye, where we empower your home office lifestyle through web hosting, cloud services, and domain names. Visit ovaleye.com to buy your domain today. And by Audible. Get a free Audible book download at www.audibletrial.com/Ovaleye. Over 100,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Hello, I'm Kathy.
And I'm Jen, and like Mom was saying, you're watching episode 83 of Home Office Lifestyle, all about getting yourself out of your comfort
zone. Just like the danger zone.
I'm very sad that we don't have Kenny Loggins playing at the beginning of every episode.
I know.
I think it would be nice.
Yes.
So anyway, we're going to be talking about, like I said at the beginning, everything from lizard brains. We'll clarify that in a little bit, I guess. Lizard brains to X Games. And a few other little pieces in between. Night. So it'll be a good episode to stay tuned for. But before we get started, I wanted to talk about some daily action items. And the reason why we're talking about getting out of our comfort zones in tonight's episode is because our theme for July is
getting out of your comfort zone.
That's an internal theme. And we'll be talking about why we've got that theme going in just a second.
Well, we send it out to our newsletter to all our members, too.
What
we
our
have
internal
a theme.
theme is.
Yes,
yeah.
we have a theme.
But we have daily action items over at ovaleye.tv/action. I've got a few images of it today in doing some of my cute little daily images that if you go to ovaleye.tv on the blog, I put a new fun image that you can pin up, and definitely please pin and share and print it out. But I was noticing on the action calendar, creating my cute little images I do every day, that the days are wrong on the calendar. And I've read this a million times. Our team has been using it, and for whatever reason today, I noticed that the 4th was on a Wednesday, and it says it's on a Thursday. Oops. Hey, I'll fix it for you guys, but it's ovaleye.tv/action. You can find out more about it there. Mom and I recorded a cute little video. It's just a couple minutes long, and find out why we put it together. So, as far as our action for the month, I guess, our big theme goes, we're talking about getting out of our comfort zones, and we do this as a daily basis, really, when you're a home-based business owner. That's what Home Office Lifestyle is all about, is the home-based business owner, and bringing you products, services, tips, resources, all that fun stuff that's geared towards you.
It's showing my jeans. Don't do that. Thank you.
All right. Jeans. So some of the ways that we get out of our comfort zone on a daily basis is, I think as women, many of you are women. Yeah,
we wear jeans and stretch pants and
being self-aware, networking, getting out and meeting new people.
Actually, you're going to a networking thing in 2 days.
On Wednesday. And this one is one that is way out of my comfort zone. Like, way out of my comfort zone. I've never been to a Girl Power Hour event before because you have to dress up nice. And the girls that go to this are all kind of socialite Seattle, which I'm just not. I'm a mom, and I work...
Well, they're moms, too.
I work on servers during the day, and it's just not very sexy at all.
It'll be good for you.
They're all in PR, and I'm very excited. I don't want to totally rag on it.
You're going to wear heels and a nice outfit. I'm getting out of my
comfort zone, and I'm going to look nice and
do that whole thing. And you're
going
to talk to everybody?
It'll be great.
Yes.
And then other ways, email introductions. Whenever we ask someone to be on the shows, it's always kind of scary. I'm like, oh my goodness, what if they say no? Little things like that, right? When you email someone for the first time, pitching your ideas to people, closing sales, taking those long hours, committing to long hours to reach a deadline.
You're talking about our comfort zones things that are out of your comfort
I'm talking
zone.
about specifically our stuff, and I'm sure a lot of you relate to it. And then also, of course, public speaking. which Mom is going to be doing next week, and she
I can't believe
does
it's
not
already.
like doing it.
I've known about this for months, and now it's time. Well, almost.
This
time.
is Kathy Nelson, by the way, who's also my mother, who's also my business partner, and she's going to be speaking at Spark and Hustle on July 19th. I'm very excited, so
In
proud
Seattle.
of her. She's going to
Yes.
be on the stage with Tori Johnson of Good Morning America.
I'm a huge fan of Tori Johnson.
Yeah.
I follow her everywhere she goes.
And what are you going to be talking about?
Marketing muscle. I need more muscles to do that. So
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, do it one more time for the camera so I can take a screenshot of it. So she's going to be talking about that, and I highly encourage everyone to check out Spark and Hustle. They're still going strong for the next month, I believe, all across the United States,
Such
right?
valuable information for mainly women-owned businesses, but you can bring a man.
Well, and it's
That's what she says too.
you can bring a
as
man.
a guest.
You have permission to bring a man.
As a guest, yes.
All right, so those are ways that we get out of our comfort zone on a daily basis, but we're talking about some bigger deals here, right? We're talking about people that are thinking about starting a business for the first time, maybe going in a new direction, starting a new marketing campaign. We have one little top secret thing that we're thinking about doing, and for me, I'm very nervous about doing this because it would be totally getting out of my comfort zone and up for a lot of ridicule, and I keep going back to the idea of you said this
Hello.
recently, something about permission. Who sent me a quote?
You don't have to ask for permission.
Yeah, don't ask for permission, do it, and what was the,
We
Apologize later.
yeah, apologize later.
We
Something
send
like
lots
that.
of those quotes.
Dad, who's also the producer, who's behind the scene, he says that all the time, and I've been thinking about that a lot lately. And so, anyway, the first topic that we wanted to get into, we're talking about really 4 different areas and getting out of our comfort zone, 4 different examples of ways that we should be looking at it from a home-based business perspective. And the first one is just looking at what it is that our comfort zone is in the first place, and that's with Seth Godin.
Scary. Though I like it when, because we saw him live when he came to Seattle, and let me
Who
tell you,
is
that
he?
was Seth Godin.
Talk about who he is.
He's an
For people
author.
that don't know who he is.
Just Google Seth Godin, and you'll be wowed by everything he has
He
to
talks
say.
about marketing and innovation.
and-
He's authored Tribes.
Oh, yes,
He talks
there's
about
Tribes
community
up there.
building.
I recommend Purple Cow, Tribes, Poke the Box, and Lynchpin. Those are all
Yeah,
great
but I think
books.
it's Lynchpin and Poke the Box that he speaks about the lizard brain.
yes,
which
but,
is what we're talking about tonight.
and remarkable. That's another word he uses a lot, is that you're remarkable. And the only way you can be remarkable is if you get outside your comfort zone. Actually, he says inside the box on the edges. You should never be outside. You should be along the edge of the box.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in just a second. So he says specifically the resistant, and this isn't a blog post. I have a couple images of Seth Godin queued up. He wrote a blog post about resisting, I believe it's called, and I have it up on my desktop too. Let me pop over to that. Quieting the lizard brain. Because
Do we
really,
have that?
Poke the Box is all about that the world needs innovation. It needs our solutions to their problems. It needs to grow. It's better for all of us if we quiet the lizard brain. And he says the resistance grows in strength as we get closer to shipping, as we get closer to an insight, as we get closer to the truth of what we really want. That's because the lizard hates change and achievement and risk. And so the whole idea behind the lizard brain is it's that thing when you say,
I'm going to lose weight.
Yeah.
And then the next minute you're eating a lot of food.
yeah, and it's
I've
an
been there,
actual
done
part
that.
of your brain, and he talks about it in this, and I don't really want to say it because I can't pronounce it. An actual part of your brain that resembles that of the lizard's brain, where it's a fight or flight kind of a thing.
It's, if you just Google it, it's all over. There's actually a lot of graphics on that, but he says it quite nice, and there's a lot of videos, and of course you can look at the book.
So we as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as home-based business owners, you really have to work on a daily basis in quieting, like you said, the lizard brain. And in the blog post,
Every
it's
day.
funny. He doesn't really offer solutions on how to quiet it. He just basically says you need to do it.
Well, I think he does in the books. I think he says, but
Well, yeah, the books do, but not so
my
much in the blog
challenge
post that we're talking
is
about.
to do it every day. You just have to do it. In fact, Richard Branson, because he's in this show that we're doing tonight, and he always says, in fact, I gave you that quote, but I don't think we're using it tonight. There's a quote that says something like, just do it, and because if you don't do it, oh shoot, I'll find that quote. Hold on.
You did this previously?
We
okay,
did.
so this is the past. We talked about Seth Godin in a past episode, and then I have an image of the past, and we'll include links, all of our links over at ovaleye.tv. But Richard Branson was another episode that we did, which moves us on to the next point, in that if you have the means to make a change, you should do it. And he's on the cover of, I think it's Entrepreneur magazine that you have out in the kitchen.
Oh, you didn't bring it,
No,
did
I
you?
didn't, but it's okay.
Okay.
Because he doesn't really talk about so much of risk making as just, if you have the means to do it, do it. And so we have this video up of his. What are you bringing up?
Nothing. I just brought up Richard
So we
Branson.
have a video of his that we wanted to include the link over to. Were you going to pull that up?
No, Dad was. I thought Dad
No.
was. Okay, hold on.
Okay, but I have images of Richard Branson you can go through as Mom's trying to find it. But Richard Branson talks about that he loves the learning process, because people in this video ask Richard on his YouTube channel. He has asked,
I've watched every single
Yeah.
one of them.
What's the method behind your madness, basically? Well, how do you continually get out of your comfort zone, right? Because he went from the music industry into space travel, basically, and you cannot tell me that his comfort zone is getting into space travel. So he basically says that he has the means in order to make a change, and he loves the learning process, so why not? And it's a great
If you
video.
ever want somebody to look as a mentor for comfort zone, getting out of it, it's Richard Branson. I think he's out of his comfort zone every day.
Well, and if you look at his PR stunts too, it's just a great image of someone that does whatever it takes to make sure that his business survives or thrives, whatever you want to say.
And that's him in the background there.
Let me see if I can turn this up. There you go. So we can just have it running. But yeah, so we talked about Richard Branson in the past episode. I don't know if you were able to bring that up, but he has a lot of different qualities about him that makes him a good role model for business owners. But in the episode, I definitely talked about how he was somebody
he's
that
right in the background
I know.
too.
He was someone that I grew up with. The book, I think it's back there too. We have it. It's covered right now by Tribes, I think.
It's like the best seller of all time for any entrepreneur.
Something about losing my virginity or something. He has another book out that's a more recent one. I don't know if you got to read that one.
No, but I saw it on Amazon today.
Yeah.
Because I Googled Comfort Zone. Of course, he comes up. Comfort Zone Business, Richard Branson, and then the book from Amazon too, which I sent you those notes, and they're not.
It didn't make it. It wasn't
It
good
didn't
enough for
hit the
tonight's episode. So pull up the X Games episode. If you pull up,
I didn't get the X Games one.
my
So
goodness,
which one's
it's in the
X Games?
email. Turn it on an image so it doesn't show.
Yeah,
us
don't show my
late.
email.
How about that?
That's good. All right. So next time, Mom's gonna have everything pulled up and ready to go. So
Wait,
the next
you didn't
one.
tell me to put this up.
So I did this blog post a while back on
right
the
there.
X Games, and so this is kind of the almost to second to the last piece on comfort zone that we're going to talk about. But here you can see. Mom keeps trying to touch stuff. I did this whole thing. Okay,
This
so
is
there's
mine.
the X Games movie is on Netflix, and I had my son in 2010 in August, or at the end of July, and it was during the X Games, and then the movie came out on Netflix, and my son slept all the time, and my husband
the
and I
good old
watched a
days.
lot of Netflix movies, and so we watched this one, and I got super inspired. It's the X Games movie, and I'm not sure if it's on Netflix anymore, but definitely check it out.
I don't know. We just watched it today.
And I got inspired by a number.
By the way, all of her notes and everything we talked about earlier is on this show, but the ones I sent and gave
We're more
to you
business oriented.
are not here. So
No, we
I
just
thought
talked
I'd
about
say
them.
it.
We talked about Richard Branson and Seth Godin.
Yeah, but I had some really good quotes.
So anyway,
Okay.
but those had nothing to do with comfort zone. Is the problem. Mom gets excited by things and tries to throw it into the show. So X
okay.
Games, the movie, anyway, the whole point of this, if you go back up to the top, so oh my gosh. This is what
Jen should just
I know. Maybe
this is what
she
a
should do
family
it.
business is all about. I put together the show. She sent me random
I
notes.
didn't.
Hey, I'm the one who should be controlling.
I know.
What's going on here?
Dad should
You guys
just
think
do
we're
it.
on this thing or what?
Yeah, ha ha ha. Very funny. So
Okay.
X Games, my husband and I are big X Games fans. We're extreme sports kind of. My husband is, not me.
Sure you
And
are.
so we watched it, and but the whole movie was fantastic, and it's a great way to get your brain
Yeah, I'm
moving
gonna
forward as a
move it
business owner. And so in it, Travis Pastrana was talking about, and Travis Pastrana is in pretty much any sport in the X Games right now. He was in motocross, supercross, I don't know which one it's called in that one. He was doing rally cars, I think, which is in 2010 what he was doing. But he was saying, he was in the voiceover, and he was saying something like, instead of thinking about the what ifs in a negative way, like most people, the X Games competitors think of what ifs in a positive way. So what if I land it? That would be dope. That kind of a thing, right? You always hear like skateboarders saying, wouldn't that be sick? Stuff like that. So I mean,
This is Jen's language every day.
no, it's not. I do not talk like that.
That's
My husband
dope.
talks like that. He says radical. My son says that now.
That's
Radical. So anyway, I think that's a totally, if you take away anything from this episode, hopefully you'll think of, instead of thinking of the what if in a negative way, which is your tendency, that's the lizard brain, right? So
Yes.
the lizard brain way of doing stuff. What if you think of it in, what if I did this and it worked and it pulled off? And when you look at the X Games movie, or if you watch the X Games at all, or any sports game for that matter,
Yeah, the Olympics are coming up at the end of the
you
month.
only think of the people that tried crazy stuff and they either did really
Michael
well or they
Phelps.
had an epic
Yes.
fail, right?
Or Roger Federer, who just won the 7th Wimbledon last weekend, who, you'll hear that because, he went out of his comfort zone, I'm sure. And here's Jen's.
Well, and then I have this other video that is an example, and so I wanted to end my little X Games talk with a couple little things. I was showing it to Mom earlier, so it's not like we didn't talk about this.
Yeah, but they're all
She's
yours,
just being
remember?
silly.
Yes.
Whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
So are you showing this, or are you just telling people
Well, I have to
look
open
at
up your
it?
email one more time.
Oh.
Show the image of the X Games.
Oh, my notes on there. What's that one?
This is in the notes from
No,
today.
I'm talking. Yeah, hurry up because I don't want to look at my
I can't
email
see
right
what
this
I'm
minute.
doing now, though. So there was another episode, and I don't know why I don't have it up here, but it's a video basically of Danny Way, and I want to show you the example of it on this because it's crazy when you look at it. And I have some. Well, I just have some screenshots of it so you can show it about the X Games. So Danny Way is this big skateboarding guy that was doing. Oh gosh, my husband's gonna laugh at me. I can't remember what it's called, but it's these huge ramps.
I mean, this big, tall, long, high ramp that went down, and then this is where it ended. In
Big air competition is what it's called.
Yes.
And it's crazy. So Mom, I fast forwarded it so you could see him diving or like going into it. What do you call it when you go into it?
Yeah.
Drop down.
Dropping
Drop
in
down.
when you drop
Drop
in.
in, yeah.
And it was crazy. He just he was already up here and then just zoom down.
But then he fell.
Yeah, so the big thing is that he took a huge fall. I don't
huge
know.
one.
I have more images up if
And
you
he
can find
broke
them,
his foot
of X Games if
or
you just
his
go through it.
ankle or
He
something.
hurt his foot, and it was so right. You're going down this big fall, and he got up afterwards. Went over to the medical team. They pulled him off, and then basically that's the Travis Pastrana one. So if you go back to that quote, he got into the medical team, saw him, and then the next attempt that he could have gone
he was
on one.
in the medical van or something
He asked,
when it was
yeah,
going
he asked
on.
someone after he'd been talking about it. He asked someone, "Hey, when's my next turn?" And they said, "Oh, it's right now." And
So-
he's like, "Are you kidding me?" So he ran. He limped up, and
He
this
didn't think
movie
about it.
shows
He
him,
just did it.
Yeah, he's limping up the thing up to the big top, and he hugs some guy. He goes to the edge and just goes down. Right? It's crazy. And this is some guy
drops
that
in.
he's obviously missing the lizard brain, or
And
like his
everybody's
is really
shocked.
small.
Yes.
Yeah, so anyway, he just crashed, had this horrible crash, and then it turns out that he landed it perfectly the second time with his broken foot and everything.
And
And
you remember that.
yeah, and so when he's asked afterward, he said, how did you come back and try it again? He said, "I don't know what it is that's inside me. It's a lot of determination. It's a fire that just keeps burning." And so I just think, and he was asked if he was going to go for it again, and he says, "I'm taking every run." I just thought that was awesome. It's a great way to think about in business and failing. And that's Seth Godin. A lot of what he talks about is just looking at failure in a different way, where the lizard brain, we try and it tells us to
Knock it down. No, I'm not.
yeah,
gonna
it
do
tells us to not fail or
like
to
you're
avoid
sabotaging
failure.
yourself. Yes.
Exactly. And so I think the athlete's perspective is to go after failure, and they just don't think of it in the same way as normal people do. And so what I learned from the X Games movie is to let your passion drive you. just like these guys do. Like Danny Way was saying, he has a passion inside him to go back to that, figure out why it is that you're starting your business and the passion behind it rather than looking at the money and that type of a thing. Also to push harder is my second point that I want to remember. That hopefully you guys will take away from this video. And then so you have the one failure in your back pocket, and now you have to really go past it. I mean, probably thousands and thousands of failures.
But that's actually a good thing.
To be consistent. And Danny Way, he talks about a lot of his competitors weren't surprised because that's what you do. You go out and you fail and you fail and you fail, and then one time you'll have a perfect run. Same, I'm sure, with the tennis guy. You go after there and you lose a lot, but you win.
It's very embarrassing, too, if you lose. So I would think there's a lot of stakes.
Yeah, but you have to go after those epic wins, and I think that's just a good thing to be inspired by. And hopefully you guys will check out the links that we have for the blog post and learn a little bit more about that perspective.
Getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the last point that we wanted to end with was Robin Fisher-Roffer's book.
Yes, well, this is another one of Jen's notes, but here's the book. And this, we recommend it. Well, sorry. We recommend everybody take this book, read it, and do everything that she asks in this book, because if you're a small business.
No, it doesn't have to be if you're a small business. You could be a blogger, but, home-based business owner if you're watching it.
Yes, it's really very helpful. It helped us. Going in our brand.
In the book, it talks about in her exercises, and this is one of the reasons why I like this book, is it does walk you through different exercises, but this is in developing your brand description, and on one of it, in identifying your talent, she stresses the need to find new things or try new things, and she says 3 new things you might like to try over the next 6 months and include that in your brand description. Just so you can discover new passions, and also just, again, to get out of your comfort zone.
I think, and Richard Branson said, I recommend Googling Comfort Zone Richard Branson. It has a ton of information. One of the things is that you won't know until you try these things. So start trying these things. Look at, hello, red face, embarrassed Kathy Nelson. Will not stand up in front of a crowd, but I will do this video.
Hopefully you'll go to Spark and Hustle and cheer her on, because she is getting out of her comfort zone for that.
Very much.
So our ask for you is that you tell us what you're doing this month to get out of your comfort zone, right? Because that's our big thing that all of our team members are doing.
Because it helps fuel everybody else if you tell us some of the things that you're out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so these are Pinterest images. So on Pinterest, if you guys are on there, make sure that you follow us over at pinterest.com/ovaleye. We've got a couple of images. These are ones that are going around. So if you need some continued inspiration for the rest of the month, I thought this one was kind of cool.
I actually need a lot of it. So I'll be pinning and looking at all of
So there's other ones that talk about, like, when there's these circles. That one's really big. I don't know if you can pull up that image.
I like that one. I like the
your
visual
comfort zone.
Yeah.
I mean, so I really like Pinterest, and you have those visual reminders every day. Yeah. So that's what it is. If you go to ovaleye.tv in the blog, you can find more information and more pins about that. But make sure that you follow us on Pinterest, and come back here next Monday, the following Mondays, where we talk about home office lifestyle at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern over at ovaleye.tv. We're also on iTunes under Home Office Lifestyle, on Blip TV, and on YouTube.
And don't forget, both of us want to hear your comfort zone stories that you could tell us for the month of July. And then tomorrow night, we have Michael Godfrey. He will be on with Carissa and I for Small Businesses Do It Better. And he's hilarious. I've talked to him on the phone forever.
Carissa was really excited because she's like, he's uber successful. It'll be really fun.
Organizational alchemy is his business, and he's just a kick. I'm so proud that Ovaleye has him as a client or a member. So until next Monday, and actually we're not allowed to put our wine glasses on the table. There's this huge letters right here at the front, because a couple weeks ago there was this spillage, and
not by us.
Yeah, not by us, by the way. But there's a lot of pieces of electricity and electronics here.
I bet you're happy you knew that.
Well, let me tell you. Now we have to reach. So excuse us while we get the wine glasses.
Cheers. Oh,
hey.
I have to get mine.
Can you get it? All right. So until next week, have a great week.